Alrighty, welcome to a one shot. This is going to be an interview here on Solomon's Porch podcast with the band Brotality. They just released a new album. Today is the day we're actually recording this, and it is Worldwide Desolation. I have Bryce, Reece, and Liam. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
Pretty good.
Doing awesome, man. Awesome. So we have Bryce and Reece here in the middle, and we have Liam over here on the side, and then yours truly with the Batman hat, just in case nobody knows who everybody is. But so the album is released today. So I'll ask. I guess I would go to Bryce and Reece first. How are y'all feeling about it?
Oh, we are so incredibly stoked with this. Like, this album has been so much work, so much effort we've been putting into this, and just getting these songs out and hearing people's reactions to them, like watching your guys' video with the review of it, like all this stuff. It's been mind blowing, and I'm so stoked that people are actually getting to listen to it now.
Yeah, I'm I'm so excited about it too. Like the whole day at school today, I was just telling every single person I saw. I'm just so excited. Everything that Bryce said. We just worked so hard on this album, and we love every single song off this album. So yeah, we're so happy for it to be out, and that people can like share their opinions on parts of different songs with us finally. Because I feel like it's been so long of us just knowing these songs so well, and it's been like, oh, I wonder what people will think of this part or this little breakdown. So I'm really happy that we get to like share that with people now.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Liam, how about you? How's your day been?
It's been really cool. To hear the album just like all the way through is so cool, and just to see it on like Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes it's just awesome because it's our debut LP, and it's so cool. I've been sharing it with everybody I could, and it's sick.
Yeah, man. So I listened to it all the way through today as well. So we got the Dropbox links a couple days early so we could review it, and so it was hard to listen through it all the way through. So
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so hearing it on Apple Music all the way through has been really cool. And I'll be honest, I felt like I enjoyed it better today than I did the first time we listened through it, or the first couple times. And
That's
so it actually got better for me. So
that's awesome.
nice.
Thank you very much.
So that's pretty cool, man. So I mean, we did our review, Salma Sports, Sean and I. So I don't want to go through and review the album myself, but just kind of talk to you guys, get to know you guys a little bit more, and so talk about just the start of the band. Like, what was the formation of it, and where did the name Brotality come from?
Awesome. So we started back, what was it, January of 2018, I believe it was. Reese and I had recorded at this studio that was semi-local to us. We're all from around Scranton, Pennsylvania. Reese and I live an hour away in New York, and Liam lives about 15 minutes away from Scranton. So there was this studio in the Scranton area that we had recorded at before with like some other projects and just for things for the studio. And Liam had done some stuff there, and the studio owner knew his dad really well. And the owner of the studio wanted to do a little project to help promote the studio. So he brought us in for guitar and bass, and he brought Liam in on the drums. The song was actually, it was a cover of I Want You to Want Me by Cheap Trick, and it never came out even.
Yeah.
But at that studio session, we met Liam. We were like, oh, this kid's really good at drumming. Like, we should keep going with this. Come over, maybe work on some original songs. And then at this point, he just won't stop coming over. So I guess he's the drummer now.
So Liam, how did you feel like toward the beginning, kind of coming into this mix?
Uh, it was the first time, the first time meeting them. It was just like, wow, these guys are like, I've always waited to meet like such professional sounding guitarists and bassists like them, and then I finally did. It was crazy because like to just meet somebody that plays like Eddie Van Halen. It was crazy. So I was very excited, and once they asked me to come and practice with them, I was like, yeah, of course, because I mean they're amazing, and yeah, I was very excited.
Why,
Awesome.
thank you.
So I played a little bit of guitar back whenever I was around probably Reese's, well, probably a little bit before Reese, just kind of rhythm guitar in the band. So what was and I probably started playing when I was maybe around 13, just playing around. When did you all start playing your respective instruments? Bryce, we'll start with you, then go to Reese, and then Liam.
I started playing guitar when I was around 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I started playing. I started actually on guitar when I was about 7 as well. But then I think when I was like 9, yeah, when I was around 9, I picked up the bass. And ever since I play bass.
Gotcha. So did you pick it up, Reese, because of Bryce, or did you just have your own interest in it?
Well, our dad got us started with like teaching us how to play guitar, and he was always a guitar player, and he had played bass a little bit, but mainly guitar. So he started Bryce on guitar, and then naturally just started me on guitar to get the interest going. But I don't know exactly what sparked it, but I just wanted to do something I think different because I feel like guitar is probably the more popular instrument in general, especially for like beginner learners. So I think I just wanted to maybe do something different, and so I picked up the bass, which worked out well because then I'm the bass player and he's a guitar player. So I think it goes together good like that. So that's how I picked up the bass.
Liam, when did you start banging around on some drums? What did you start with drums, or was it pots and pans?
Well, I mean, I think I have like pictures of me banging on pots and pans when I was like 3 years old. But my dad was a drummer, and I really got into it when I was like 8. So, but yeah, before that, like there's videos of me when I was like 2 years old playing on like a tiny baby kit. So I guess you can say I've been playing since I was 2, but I really like got into it when I was like 8 or 9, I think. So
We're gonna do a music video one day, and instead of clips of you like actually drumming, we're gonna take those clips of you playing on that baby kit when you're like 2 years old and fill it
please
with
do.
that.
That would be amazing. That would be great.
Awesome, awesome. So let's get into the music a little bit. And so you released EPs, some 2-track, double single. People call them different maxi singles or whatever. So I'm gonna start with the first one that I heard, "Salting the Wound," and the intro kind of the intro of that was pretty unique from what I had heard. What was the kind of inspiration behind that song, and what does salting the wound mean?
So the inspiration behind like the music part of that song in terms of like guitar riff and that type of stuff, we're big Mastodon fans, and any of you guys that listen to Mastodon, their guitarist Brent Hines, he has a very like country background and does a lot of country soloing and that type of stuff. So he does a lot of that cool chicken picking stuff, and I wanted to kind of make my own version of that, and it didn't end up really sounding like Brent Hines. There's no chicken picking or anything in it, but it has kind of that like kind of like bluesy feel, but
Yeah.
like super metalized. Yeah, and I'm so happy with how that riff came out. But it Brent Hines with Mastodon, his picking and soloing style kind of influenced that riff.
Yeah. I would, and then "Salt in the Wound" itself, that name, obviously is derived right from lyrics in the song, "Salt in My Wounds," and that song's basically about like when you're in a struggle, like when you're struggling with something. A lot of times we don't go out of our way to like actually see an end to it. Instead, it's kind of like rolling around in your misery or like in the trial and like kind of like woe is me, like that sort of thing. And so like "Salt in My Wounds" is basically like when you're just having a negative attitude on an outlook on life, even if you're going through something difficult, which I think we all are, like a lot of the time. Having that negative outlook is just literally adding like salt to your wounds. Like that's not going to help you get out of the problem. So having a positive attitude, having faith and hope and trust that you're going to get out of it. I think that's where "Salt in the Wound" comes from.
So who did the writing? Like who does the writing for the lyrics on the music? Is it just depending on who's singing it? Does one person write it all and y'all all perform it? How does that work?
Yeah, so I write all the lyrics, generally for all of our songs, and come up with most of the vocals too, like the melody. But Bryce also helps me, in terms of like the melody. But I write all the lyrics. Yeah.
So does Liam? Uh, I saw where it credits. We have some on the website that Liam does some vocals. Liam? Did you do any of the vocals for this particular album?
I didn't really do like any singing, but at the end of Legion Falls, that pig squeal is that's me. So I guess you can say in a way I do a little bit of vocals on that album, but no singing or anything.
Who yells timber?
That is actually that's a track that we got, but whenever
Okay.
we practiced it together during band practice, I don't know how it started, but just we start it like this every time. I always like make the noise with my mouth. I'm like ring ding 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 timber, and then Liam slams this snare, and we start going into it at practice.
Gotcha. So, just out of curiosity, who would you say is the most goofy, fun-loving out of the three of you?
Oh, it
Is all three an answer?
Yeah.
I literally think like all three of us, like that's just what we do like all the time, like in practice and all the time. Like it's how we stay positive. Like we're always all three of us, like just nonsense
Yeah.
jokes, like
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time.
all ridiculousness all the time.
Yeah.
Liam, if it was a competition though, Liam might take the cake.
In terms of like goofy nonsense.
Yeah.
So, Liam, where would you say would you rate yourself as the most goofiest of the three?
I don't know. I mean, they're pretty sorry, that was my dog.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good.
They're pretty really stupid and dumb when it comes to jokes too. I think I would agree with them. We're all pretty immature and fun loving around each other. But yeah.
That's good. Who's going to be the one to tell a dad joke the quickest?
Oh, that's probably Reece, honestly.
I would say
Either-
it's probably two. I might not do it a lot in the band. I mean, I know I do a lot with my friends and stuff, like outside of the
But
band.
I think you would say it as like a joke to be stupid.
Yeah.
Like you'd say a dad joke
You're right.
Yeah.
as a joke. Like,
You always
not
just pull him
serious.
out.
True. Yeah.
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 Gotcha. So this is one of the most interesting photos that y'all have. I really love it. And the first thing I got to know is, Reece, what were you jumping off of, or was that straight in the air? Or did you have a trampoline or something?
So it was actually kind of sketchy. We weren't gonna do it at first, but this I stood up on the kick drum, on the top of the kick drum, and like my feet were all wet because as you can see, like it's snow around it and everything. So I just did it. I stood up on top of there. Like I said, it was sketchy. I kind of had to hold on, and then yeah, I jumped up off the kick drum, and it was kind of like a one take sort of thing. But I mean, the picture came out great. I can't believe like we got that picture. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So, Bryce, do you get your hair caught in the guitar a lot? Is there any owl moments during your playing?
Oh yeah, all the time. I've probably lost more hair to my headstock than anything else combined. Like multiple times during a set, I'll pull my head up from a headbang, and I'll be like, "Ooh, what was that? What was that?" And then I'll look out of the corner of my eye, and I just see a strand going straight to the headstock. Sometimes I get lucky, and it unwraps. Most of the time, it comes out of my head instead. So usually every show ends up with a little bit of hair hanging from the tuners on my guitar.
Gotcha. So, Liam, do you ever feel pressure to start getting your hair to the same length as Bryce and Reece?
I've been growing it out a little bit recently because of quarantine. It's been a lot easier, and you know, like especially earlier in quarantine, there haven't been a lot of like barbershops or hair salons open. So, but I've been growing it out a lot more. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever like it like Bryce's because I don't think that would really fit me. But I am growing it out a little bit more. So
We tell him all the time. We're like, Liam, come on, grow it out. Or if he goes like a month without a haircut, it's always like, dude, it's looking good. Keep it going. And then he comes back with a haircut, and it's like, all right, you're done. We'll find another drummer.
Gotcha,
Disappointing.
gotcha. I do want to ask you, as far as the band goes, do y'all consider yourself a Christian band?
So yeah, as a band, we don't consider ourselves a Christian band. We call ourselves a metal band. Our goal as a band, our ultimate goal as a band, is to reach everyone, to reach as much people as possible, and to hopefully bring a positive influence into as many people as possible. And that includes Christians, and that includes Satanists. That includes people who don't want anything to do with anything Christian. So by calling ourselves a Christian band, it's like excluding people from listening to a hopefully positive
The people
message.
that probably need to be reached
Yeah.
and don't get that message.
Yeah, exactly. Like we want to reach people who, sadly, a lot of people, if they're not Christian, when they hear the label Christian metal, or when they hear if anything associated with being Christian, they immediately turn away, and so they're never like surrounded by that message. They never get to hear that message. So by calling ourselves a metal band, even though all three of us are Christians, it bleeds through our music. It's in multiple songs in the album. And that's obvious to people who listen to us. We want to reach those people, regardless of who they are or what they believe. So that's why we just call ourselves a metal band.
Gotcha, that makes sense. I know I personally primarily kind of stem from the Christian hip hop sphere. So there's a lot of debate all the time, like, should it be Christian labeled? Should it not be? So people aren't shut off to it just because of that label. So that definitely makes sense. So I got some questions that I made sure that I got from Sean because since he couldn't be here on the actual interview. And one of the questions is obviously curious, myself too, is who were each of one of yours biggest musical influences? And I guess we'll work from Bryce, Reece down to Liam.
So I kind of have two. Whenever anybody asks me, I kind of have two for different parts. Randy Rhoads was a massive influence on me in terms of like soloing and really sounding like he's having fun on the guitar. Like solos like Over the Mountain, favorite solo of all time. The way that it sounds like he's having so much fun while playing, and it's just an extension of what he's feeling. Like that's amazing. And he's my favorite solo guitarist for that. Obviously, there's tons of others, like obviously Eddie, Yngwie, so many more. But Randy Rhoads stands out. And then in terms of like songwriting, writing riffs, that kind of thing, Bill Kelleher from Mastodon. He is like the riff master, and the way that he crafts a song and has all these parts flow from like a sludge riff to like a psychedelic interlude, then to just like an absolute like thrasher of a riff to an open chorus. The way that he works all those parts together and then still keeps it very interesting on the guitar, like it never breaks down to just a chord progression or something. He's my biggest influence in that style.
Awesome. Yeah. For me, this is surprising because he's not even a bass player, but Matt Greiner from August Burns Red, he's their drummer. Just as a person too, he's like so inspiring to me. Like he's just such a good guy and such a great musician. But I've never had like whenever I hear bass in a song, I love it. I mean, just because I'm a bass player and I love playing bass. When I hear a bass line, I love it. And so I love that bass player. But I know like for Matt Greiner, like his drumming just like sticks out to me so much. It just like makes me love music and makes me like appreciate just metal in general so much more and like how tight he is on the drums. So he's surprisingly a big influence for me in wanting to play music. And like two others for me are Les Claypool from Primus. I love Primus. They're wacky, but he's, I mean, just an incredible bass player. And also, I'm blanking on his name right now, but the bass player from Coheed and Cambria, whenever I listen to a Coheed and Cambria song, like the bass line's insane. and it always fits, and it's never too much, but it's never not enough. So I would say those three musicians are just like very inspiring to me.
Gotcha, Liam. How about you? Where's your influence come from?
I have a few, just like Bryce and Reece, but my biggest is probably either Matt Halpern or probably Braun Daler. They have it tied because they're both just, I mean, both the genres of music. They're pretty different, but they're like my top favorites, and they're just so talented. They're crazy, and they're really inspirational. And every time I hear their drumming, it makes me want to air drum. So yeah,
Awesome,
those are
awesome.
probably my big.
So, who are y'all currently listening to right now?
Ooh, wait, I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, so my number one band I'm listening to right now is definitely Opeth. They're incredible, and I could see them one day being my favorite band of all time. Just like super progressive metal, and that's I think our favorite, like collectively, for Brotality, our favorite genre is probably progressive metal. So a whole lot of Opeth as of late. And I've also been listening to Extol a lot lately. I've been getting more into their older catalog because their self-titled album, their like latest album, is my favorite album of all time. So I'm, diving back into their older stuff, but it's incredible.
Yeah, I got to agree with Reece. X-Toll, I've been listening to a lot, but then some other bands, Kubla Khan, they're a hardcore band that just pulls no punches.
Yeah.
We both watched this live set while we were on treadmills, and dude, I was in the gym at my college, watching the live set on the treadmill, and I thought I was gonna throw some elbows into the girl running on the treadmill.
I was throwing
next
air
to me.
punches.
Yeah, they're like such a great hardcore band. And then Rivers of Nile too. They're like a progressive death metal band. So sick. Yeah, I'd say Rivers of Nile, Kubla Khan, and X-Toll are probably my
Nice.
top. But I've kind of been rotating through a ton of stuff. If you guys want to check out what we're doing like week to week, we have a playlist up on Spotify called Brutality's Current Jams. And the first 8 songs are what I've been listening to over the past 2 weeks. Middle 8 are Reese's, and the last 8 are Liam's. So you can check out what we've been jamming out to recently.
So, Liam, who are you currently jamming out to right now?
Just like both of them, I'm a really big prog metal fan. Periphery is probably my favorite. It has been for a while. But I've also really been getting into the Contortionist. Reece actually got me into them.
Like the shirt. There you go.
Oh yeah, right here. I'm wearing it right now. Yeah, the Contortionist. Reece got me into them. They're an amazing band. Kind of just like a bunch of random songs, like a lot of Animals as Leaders stuff, Polyphia stuff, just kind of scattered all over the. But prog metal isn't really the only thing I'm listening to right now. It's a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, mainly prog.
Gotcha. So, here at Solomon's Porch, we talk a lot about comic book movies, comic book characters, stuff like that. Do any of you, are y'all into that? And if you are, who's your favorite comic book movie character, or is it just maybe character from comics?
Yeah, I'm not really like a huge comic book guy. I don't know if Reece or Liam are.
I'm not a huge comic book guy. I'm a massive like fantasy book fan, like 900-page books, like Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. I absolutely love that, and I'm kind of new to it, but I love that. But I have read a few like graphic novels. Coheed and Cambria, some of you might know, are like all of their albums. The majority of their albums are all based on comic books that the vocalist wrote, like graphic novels. So I read their first one of that, which was really good. And also John Cooper from Skillet, he has written 2 graphic novels, Eden and Eden the Aftermath. I had both of those, and they're great. So I'm not super into that scene, but I would like to get more into comic books and all that.
Okay. Yeah, look, don't feel pressured, man. Don't feel pressured.
Yeah.
We cover a little bit of everything, and that's just one thing because of our, because of what we do. I definitely wanted to ask that. So
Yeah.
Sean's question was, what's your favorite pizza?
Ooh, oh, oh,
Oh,
wh-
maybe this is it. Maybe well, Bryce and I would probably have the same answer just because we eat like the same thing when we go places. But we had this one pizza where it was like it's not even a really type of pizza, but it was just
Oh, yeah.
ziti, like a tray of ziti like on top of a cheese pizza, which is just like absolutely ridiculous.
yeah.
But like hands down, like that was like incredible.
Yeah, that was down in Asbury Park. So I guess baked ziti pizza is our
Yeah.
favorite pizza.
Mine is either plain or like sausage pizza. I love sausage pizza.
Gotcha. Any of y'all like mushroom at all?
Oh,
Ooh,
I do.
yeah.
I like mushroom and pepperoni. That's a great combination.
Yes, I agree. Liam, you might be you might have just moved up a couple notches on. So we have a couple of kind of either or type of things, and this is something that Sean put together. So I'm gonna kind of list them out, and y'all pick which one of those two. If you listen to them, pick your favorite one. If you don't like either one of them, you can just kind of. So we have Striper or Motley Crue.
Striper. All day.
I'd
I'd have to say. Go ahead.
You go,
Bryce.
Liam. Oh, you go.
I'd have to say Motley Crue, just because I honestly I couldn't name one Striper song, and when I was younger, I just loved Motley Crue. I used to listen to them a lot. So
I gotta say a tie right now, because I've had Looks That Kill stuck in my head for like the past 2 weeks, and every time I pick up the guitar, I keep playing that riff.
Really?
Yeah. But then there's other songs like To Hell with the Devil that like now that song
Yeah.
will be stuck in my head for 2 weeks. So yeah, and Reece plays Striper a lot, so I get that scene in
Yeah.
a lot.
Gotcha. So next up, Guns N' Roses or Decipher Down.
Oh.
Definitely
Guns N'
Decipher. Okay.
I don't even know. I've never even heard of Decipher Down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard.
We
of
actually saw them live, and they were really good. But
Nice.
I used to be really into them, like all their albums. I used to like really like them. Kind of moved a little bit more away from them in the past couple years, but I really like them. So definitely Decipher Down for me.
I'd agree just with that exact reasoning.
Yeah.
Decipher Down.
Gotcha. So Metallica or Demon Hunter.
Ooh, that's hard.
Definitely Demon Hunter, because I'm not a fan of Kirk Hammett's solos. Like some Metallica songs, like Creeping Death, more of their earlier stuff like that, amazing. Like that stuff is incredible. But like, I don't know. I never really got into Kill 'Em All. I was kind of into like Ride the Lightning, Master, and Justice. Those are kind of the only three that do it for me. But Demon Hunter, I feel like they are much more well-rounded and put out a much better catalog throughout all the years. And I'd probably be more tempted to put on a Demon Hunter song now than a Metallica song, just because I don't know, Kirk Hammett's solo just kind of rubbed me the wrong way sometimes.
That's a tough question. Honestly, I would say a tie. But the reason why Metallica wouldn't be number one, because like Bryce said, overall Demon Hunters, like all their albums are solid. I love all their albums. Metallica not so much, but Metallica's first 4 albums are like unbelievable. So that's kind of where it falls for me.
Yeah, it's a hard one, but I think Demon Hunter, like Bryce and Reece said, they're much more consistent. Like all their albums are great, but I don't know as much by Demon Hunter as I do by Metallica, because like I've been listening to Metallica since I was like 7. So and like both of them said, the like middle few albums of Metallica are complete garbage. So but like their early stuff is really
Oh,
good.
man.
And their last album, Hardwired, is really good too. So I'd probably say Metallica just because I know more by them, but
Curveball, Elton John or Michael W. Smith.
Oh, I guess, I never really got super into Elton John, so I guess I'd say Michael W. Smith, because when we played in our church band, we'd rip some Michael W. Smith songs, and I would go back and forth every week playing drums and guitar. Like I'd switch with somebody else. So I'd either be like kind of like half riffing out to Michael W. Smith chord progressions in church, or like playing drum beats that were probably way too complex. But nobody seemed to mind that much that I would metal up songs like that in church.
Yeah, for me, I guess I would say Michael W. Smith. I don't listen to either Elton John or him as of right now. But if I had to choose, say I was gonna eat into one of them, it'd probably be Michael W. Smith, just because his message. So that'd probably lift him up higher.
Yeah. Like I've never listened to either, but just playing them in church, I guess gives me that there's more exposure than I've had to Elton John.
I've never heard of Michael W. Smith, so I'm gonna have to go Elton John.
Oh man, well there you go. There's somebody you can go look up. So one of my, I gotta ask myself, Lecrae or Lil Wayne?
Oh, Lecrae, definitely.
Definitely Lecrae.
We Reece harder than me, but we were in a little bit of like a rap phase for a while. We used to be able to like rap all the lyrics to APB and like a ton of other Lecrae songs. There's pictures of Reece with like snapback hat and like big old t-shirts and stuff back when we were like super into the rap phase.
Yeah, I would definitely say Lecrae. Also, I literally can't name one Lil Wayne song. I don't know how any of them go, but Lecrae is like such a big part of like when I was a lot younger. Like he was like the majority of what I listened to actually. So definitely Lecrae.
Yeah.
I don't know Lecrae that much, but Lil Wayne kind of sounds like an electric eel when he sings. So I'm gonna have to go. I don't know. It's a hard one.
Liam, you're just like if they don't play 8 strings and their vocalist doesn't hit a bunch of like, I don't listen to it.
No, I don't know. Lil Wayne, I guess, because I know like 3 songs by him, and I guess Lil Wayne. I don't know the other guy.
Lil Wayne cover now since you're such a huge fan.
Yeah, we'll do a cover of Lollipop. Let's do that.
Oh,
you can do the
goodness.
solo.
Oh
Just
god.
like him.
Gotcha. No, we won't push you too much into the hip hop there. One thing I am curious about is, what are y'all's favorite tracks from this particular new album?
I'll go first.
Sure.
One of my favorites as of this moment has got to be "Empty Existence." That first riff. Well, once it kicks in, there's the intro to it, but then you hit into that first riff. Just the way it's played, like the fingering and everything, and the rhythm with it. It just, I don't know what it is, but it just feels so like it feels so right, and it just grooves so well when I'm playing it. And that solo is one of the proudest solos, or one of the solos I'm most proud of that I've ever written. I just like, especially that big ending with the big sweep arpeggios at the very end. That song gets me so stoked. And then The Way of Suffering, I think, is really sick how we incorporated all the like orchestral elements into the end of it and really made this big epic ending out of the album. And then the way that it ties into Garden with like the way that those songs flow directly into one another, and then Garden at the end. Like I really like how the album ends with that sort of like conceptualness of those last 2 songs.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I love those. I would say my favorite, and it has been for quite some time, is The Way of Suffering, because originally it was actually going to be, Garden was going to be at the beginning of it. It was going to be 11 minutes. But then we decided to put Garden as a separate track, which I'm glad we did. But I love long songs, but I love The Way of Suffering. I'm happy with how the lyrics turned out to it too. And that ending, like where Bryce said, it's kind of like orchestral and the big soaring vocals. That's probably my favorite part on the whole album. So I love The Way of Suffering. And my other one would probably be I Am Fire, I Am Death. Because I love the whole middle part. I loved what you guys were saying about it on the Solomon's Porch podcast, about that middle part. But yeah, I really love that middle part. And just the chorus riff where Bryce is screaming is straight hardcore,
Yeah.
and so is the breakdown in that song. So that's like straight from like Knock Loose and Kubla Khan, like hardcore influences. So I mean, that's why I love that song too.
Gotcha. So one thing I'm curious about is there any moments where y'all just feel like you could play one of the other person's instruments? Like you just like Liam, do you ever just want to pick up a guitar, bass guitar, or anybody just want to go over there and just steal the drum set away from Liam?
The
Liam's
reason
drum set
I
is.
haven't.
You
Oh,
go ahead, Liam.
Bryce. Oh, okay. There's a lag, so whenever we say something, it kind of
Yeah, it's all good. You go ahead.
But no, the only reason I like wouldn't is because I have before, and it's not a very good sound that comes out. So, but I'm sure Bryce is actually a really good drummer. So I'm sure Bryce before has thought like, I really just want to play the drums right now.
Liam's giving me a little bit too much credit. I enjoy playing the drums. But Liam's far ahead, but Liam has a really nice kit set up. You can see it in that picture. That at his house, it's so perfect. It just like the few times I have sat down behind it, it just feels great. So sometimes I'm a little jealous that he gets to sit and play behind that thing.
Yeah, I would say I've definitely like, since I'm such a huge fan of like Mac Reiner too. I would love to learn drums, like, and actually learn how to play one day. But I have a couple guitars, and sometimes I play guitar, basically just like old Blink-182 songs. If I pick up the guitar, that's what I play. But yeah, I know for me, like, yeah, guitar and drums, I think would be awesome to like play more.
No one wants to play bass.
Nope.
Nah, come on. I think Sean would disagree. I think bass players get overlooked too much. Too
Yeah.
much.
I think it's well deserved though. I mean, we're being 100%.
Gotcha.
Wow, Liam.
That's
so
sad.
funny.
That's sad. Okay, so from here, going in, we're in 2021, and we don't know what the future is looking like, but do y'all have any kind of tour dates or live shows or anything in that realm that you're looking at?
Yes, so last summer was supposed to be our first like full-fledged tour, and we were supposed to head out, start at Creation Fest Northeast, which we played before, always amazing, and then we were gonna head out into Indiana playing Capstone and Audio Feed Music Fest, and then hanging around there for a little bit before making our way back. We also had I Matter Fest booked, which was we were playing with bands like we mentioned before. Red, Knock Loose was playing there. But that all got canceled. But as of now, that's all rescheduled to this year. So if that stuff can happen this year, we will be playing Creation, Capstone, hopefully Audio Feed, I Matter Fest in 2021. Also, Chains Unchained, that's the name of it?
Yep.
Chains Unchained Festival we have booked. That's in Missouri. We have booked that for this summer. And we plan on making that a whole tour run out into the Midwest there. So this summer, if shows are happening, we will be doing them, and you can expect to see us at those festivals or playing everywhere we can around the Northeast.
Gotcha. So is there a dream band that y'all maybe haven't played with that you would love to tour with at all?
Ooh,
I think we could all say Mastodon, right?
yeah.
Like they're our biggest influence, definitely overall, for all of us as musicians and just as a band. I mean, everything they put out, like every song they put out, if they put out some demo from a couple years ago, we'll absolutely love it. Like,
Yeah.
really anything Mastodon does, we love. And so I think Mastodon, I think they would be.
And when we saw them live on tour with Primus, and they were so good live that I would just love to be able to see them night after night live again, just to be in the audience. Like that would be such a killer experience.
I think Gojira would be another band too.
Oh,
Because we love
Gojira.
Gojira too, and they're a big influence too. So I think they'd be close.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to catch one show sometime in the near future. And I always love a good metal show. And I haven't been to one in a long time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think a lot of people didn't go anything in 2020. So a lot of people are trying to get out and find something to be a part of. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
awesome, man. So, just kind of to round this out, to end this out, who are some people that y'all are grateful for, thankful for this album helping y'all out, that y'all like to give some credit to?
So 100% our parents. We couldn't have done it without them. They helped us so much with it. Everything from just like whenever I come up with a riff, it's like, hey dad, come in here, check this out, and he's always so stoked on it. And just helping us with like actually being able to do the album and be able to get it out. Like we would not be able to do it without them. So they are like definitely the biggest
Yeah.
thank we gotta give for that. Also over to Sean Browning and the entire Rottweiler Records team for picking us up and helping us with distribution and promo of this. That was amazing. And just me personally, I got to give a huge thanks to my guitar sensei, as I like to call him, Scott Rage. He's helped me with like some just what do you call it? Like some creative stuff. Like I'll come to him
Yep.
with a riff and he'll be like, "Oh, here'd be a cool solo over it," and we'd kind of flesh some stuff out like that sometimes. And he's helped me become a better guitar player. So a lot of the things probably wouldn't be what they are. They'd probably be a lot different if I didn't have some of his guitar wisdom.
I would also, we definitely want to thank part of like the pack, the Rottweiler Records pack. Bands like Taking the Head of Goliath and Symphony of Heaven and many more that I just am not mentioning now, but many other
Oh yeah.
bands. But so welcoming. Like we didn't even know that they could be that welcoming. Like just to be a new band on the label, and some of these bands have been on there for quite some time, and to be so like warmly welcomed by these awesome bands is just like it just felt so good. It made us feel so right at home, and they've supported us and supported this album already. So thank you to all the bands that are a part of the pack with us.
Yeah, the pack's amazing. Everybody really wants the best for one another, like truly wants the best. There's never any like, oh, your song is doing better than mine or anything like
Yeah.
that. Everybody truly wants the best for one another, and the pack has been amazing to us. So we are so thankful to be a part of the pack.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm extremely well. I don't know if I can say I'm proud of this album for y'all, if that makes sense at all. Uh, I know Sean is. When he, obviously when he first found y'all, he really wanted to push y'all. I know, a lot of people would give a lot of credence to young bands trying to be on the come up, and they might over credit young bands trying to encourage them. But I literally do think y'all did a great job on this album. That's
Thank
not
you.
just trying
Thank you
to
so much.
Thank you.
that's not just trying to hype you up or anything. I really do enjoy this album. I think it's great. I'll be definitely listening to it. I don't think it's going to be one of those listen to it for 1 or 2 days and then forget about it onto the next thing. At least not for me. I know it's not for Sean.
That is so awesome to hear, and
Yeah.
thank you guys for
Thank you
doing
very
that whole
much.
review. When I saw that came out, and it was like, wow, just that these guys want to talk about what we did for 40 minutes. Like I was so stoked. And
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a smile
awesome.
on my face the whole time watching that video. So thank you guys.
That's cool. That's cool. It was an honor to be able to do it, and we're grateful for it, and to have even a little bit of a platform to be able to share. Interesting enough, a friend of mine who actually sponsors the show, I guess, I don't know if it's because of the songs he heard previously on the show or because of the review, but he told me today. He said, "Yeah, but I'm gonna check them out." He said they're on my, and but he usually listens to Christian hip hop. So
That's awesome.
that's the thing that makes it kind of interesting that I thought was cool, and I was happy about that. So we're definitely happy to hear the feedback that we've gotten from it. We're glad that y'all are getting some positive feedback, and looking forward to any future music coming. So is there anything else that y'all would, as a band, would like to say to folks who are listening to this? Just anything at all? Message, ending notes.
So yeah, if you are digging the album, that can be found Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all of that good stuff. We have an Instagram page and a Facebook page that we post on constantly. So if you want any updates about music, shows, fun stuff we're doing, just some great ridiculousness, you can check that out. We have a YouTube page where we post everything from music videos to live clips to skits about how I'm addicted to my guitar on Dr. Phil. So yeah, we have a bunch of social media that we're always super active on. So if you like that, you can check us out, and our music is available everywhere. Thank you guys so much for you guys who are listening to the album and streaming it. Your support really means so much, and you're really helping us achieve our dream. So just, we can't say thank you enough for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll tell you what, I had this dream lineup of bands that I would love to see on tour, which includes Demon Hunter, Love and Death, Red, Disciple, POD, Project 86, and now I've definitely added Brutality to that list as of
Wow.
this album.
Wow,
Thank
Thank
you
thank
so
you
much.
so much.
That's
That's amazing
awesome.
company.
So everybody go get cover art. Lord, I was looking at the cover art. Y'all go get that. The album is incredible. I think it's great. There it is right there. Go find it. And the artwork is great, by the way. Um, is there any special meaning to that artwork?
Yeah, so the artwork actually encapsulates bits of every song. So Legion Falls is straight from Mark 5, where Jesus casts a bunch of pigs off a cliff, and you can see right under the R and the O in Brutality, there's a bunch of pigs running off a cliff. The Huge Abyss is like Prisoners of the Abyss. You wrote the lyrics. You probably know more about what pertains to what.
Yes, there's that, and there's the guy standing out of the abyss. It kind of looks like, he came up out of the abyss and he was like victorious. So it's that message of hope that, like, even though behind him it's literally looks like hell and looks like he just went through hell, he's standing strong out of it, even if he's like bruised and cut up. So yeah, that's what the album artwork is.
Yeah, it's representative of the album as a whole.
Awesome, awesome. Well, hopefully we can get y'all back on the show, and it'd be cool just to get y'all on the regular podcast sometime.
Yeah.
Just
Yes,
talk about
definitely.
some other stuff.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man. So looking forward to it. Grateful for y'all taking the time to do this interview, and I'm hoping
You.
that hoping it does well, and that that whatever message you're definitely trying to put across with this album lands, and I think that's the most important thing. We are very big on making sure that Christian artists, bands, creatives at all get as much push as possible, because the message is the most important thing behind any of it. And
Yeah, we couldn't agree more.
yeah, and without the message, we wouldn't be here doing what we do as well. So we're grateful. Everybody go check out Brutality's newest album. Again, there's the artwork, Worldwide Desolation. And what's at the very bottom right there? Is that y'all's autographs?
No, that's actually the artist who who did the artwork. That's her signature.
Okay, and what's the artist's name?
Her name is Antonia Milas. She's actually, Liam's mom is an art teacher, and when we were thinking about artwork, Liam's mom came in and was like, I had this student who was absolutely amazing. You guys should check her out. So we got in touch with her, and she made this, which we are absolutely, like, completely stoked with.
Yeah.
So yeah, Antonia Milas.
Awesome, awesome. And Liam, I know you're being further away from them. Does that ever like prevent anything from happening? Do y'all have any issues at all as a band, kind of being separated like that?
Not really. I mean, we are like, it's like, I think it's about an hour away, so it is a bit of a distance, but it's not anything like crazy or insane. So we usually like alternate whenever we practice. Like I go over their house 1 week, they come over here 1 week. So we do alternate, and it makes it a lot easier. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a big challenge.
Okay, I was curious. I wanted to ask that question earlier, and I forgot. And so I definitely wanted to make sure I got that, because I was just curious, because I know when I was in the band younger, there was issues with the band members not being able to meet to practice, and those are downfall for a lot of bands. So, but I'm
Yeah.
glad to see that y'all were able to get this thing done. And so, yeah, everybody go check that out. Grateful for you all, and hopefully it does well. And thank y'all for being a part of this.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, make sure y'all go check that out, and definitely looking forward to hearing some more music from y'all soon.
Thank you.